Hello, dear friend. This is poet Ruth Truth, and I love you. And I have written 14 books, but today I am offering you my inspirational poetry book, Good News in a Bad News World. Aren't you tired of hearing bad news? Well, these 67 uplifting poems will lift your spirits and make you smile. In this book, Good News in a Bad News World, you will find the most encouraging, honest, and empowering good news about God and about life. These thought provoking, poetic messages will inspire you every time you open this book's pages and leave you yearning to share these positive messages with your family and friends. I just want to tell you a little bit about some of these poems because many of them weren't written by me. Many of them were actually inspired by God. I literally just got a sheet of paper and a pen, and God started dictating many of these poems to me. So many of these poems are actually inspired by God, sent down in love from heaven above. So let me just share with you some of the titles. Do you have a tendency to worry? I have a poem called Don't Worry, God is in Control. Do you need a hug from God? Are you feeling down and depressed? Are you tired of being beat up by the world and other people? Well, I also offer a poem called When God Hugs. And we all could surely need a hug from God. Then there's a poem called All Lives Matter. It's a powerful poem. Do you want to improve your prayer life? There's a poem called Much Prayer Means Much Power. There's also a poem called Will the Real Christian Please Stand Up? Also, there's a poem called When America Remembers How to Pray. There's another poem called Don't Give Up. Sometimes your faith kind of weak. There's a poem called You Must Have Faith. Are you having marriage problems? There's a poem called The Keys to a Happy Marriage. Also, there's a poem called How to Overcome Depression, Fear, and the Powers of Darkness. I write topics that poems normally don't address. There's even a poem that tells you how to prosper. Do you want to prosper? This poem is entitled, What is the Key to Prosperity? And so this poem will tell you how to prosper. There's also another poem called Stop Blaming God. And then I also have a wonderful tribute poem that I recite at special women's events. It's a poem that's a tribute to women and to womanhood. And it's called Can You Guess Who I Am? And so please, I want you to go to Amazon.com, enter the book title. It's entitled Good News in a Bad News World by Ruth Truth. Please go to Amazon, get your copy today without delay. Again, the title is Good News in a Bad News World by Ruth Truth, and it's only $12.95. Also, please check out my website. My website is www.freebookforyou.org. That's all words, freebookforyou.org. And when you go to my website and you order a book, I will send you a free book. So don't miss your free book offer. Again, now my website won't be up until August 5th. So it'll be about another 2 weeks before my website is back up again. Again, my website is www.freebookforyou.org. And again, this is Ruth Truth, and I love you. Also, I want to ask you to please invite me to your church or to recite poetry for one of your upcoming events or women's conferences. God has called me to help restore his gift of poetry. You see, poetry is biblical, but you rarely hear anybody recite a poem anymore, particularly in the church. But God wants to use all the gifts, and poetry is biblical. And so please help me to fulfill my calling by inviting me to one of your upcoming events to share some of my inspirational poetry. because God can speak through a poem just as well as he can speak through a sermon or a song. And so unfortunately in most churches today, all you hear is a sermon or a song, but God can speak through a poem just as well as a sermon or a song. So please prayerfully consider inviting me to recite poetry at your church or upcoming event. Thank you. Again, this is Ruth Truth, and God bless.